All right, we're going to solve some equations today. An equation, these have variables on one side, but we're also going to distribute. So you have to use PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division are on that same level, addition and subtraction are on the same level. We're going to start by distributing. You can't combine any of those terms in the parentheses, so we have to distribute. So 2x plus 10 plus 3x equals 20. And then we're going to combine like terms. I'm going to underline the ones that I'm combining. I also like to draw a line where my equal sign is and kind of keep that on the same track. That just really just helps with organization, mainly. So 5x plus 10 equals 20. So what did I just do? I just added 2 plus 3. That's all I did. Got 5x. Then brought my 10 down, brought my 20 down. All right, that's all I did there. And then you're going to use the inverse operation. So the opposite of adding is subtracting. We're going to subtract 10 on both sides. Bring my 5 down. My 10s are going to disappear because 10 minus 10 is 0. 5x is going to equal 10. We're going to divide by 5 on both sides. X is going to equal 2. And that is that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to pause my screen and we're going to work this at the same time, but I want you to work the second one. They're very similar problems. It is slightly different when combining like terms. It's a negative with a positive. So pay attention to that. But I'm going to pause my screen and I want you to solve it and then we'll check to see if we're getting the same answer for my answer. So x equals 4. If you got that, great. If you didn't, let's kind of just look through this quickly. This was my first step. I distributed. So you can check your first step. Did you distribute wrong? Well, that's probably where your mistake is if you got it wrong. And then I combined like terms. Honestly, this is one of the most common mistakes I see is combining those like terms wrong and ending up with like 8x there or negative 8x and doing that incorrectly. And then I subtracted 15 on both sides. Then I divided by 2. Then that was it. X is 4. All right. Yeah, so if you didn't get that correct, that's okay. We still have 4 examples, and you'll have a lot of practice today before that quiz tomorrow. But we're moving on, so we're going to distribute for this one. So 6y plus 12 equals negative 2y minus 20. Why is it minus 20? Because it's a negative 2 times a positive 10. So it's going to be minus 20 there. And then now these have variables on both sides. So like it's up to you how you want to solve these. I personally like my variable to be positive, and so I like to just see if I can make it positive. And if I can, that's what I end up doing. So I'm going to add 2y on both sides. If you solve this a different way and get the same answer, that's fine. There's actually, you can choose any of these 4 things. You can subtract it and put it on the other side. But we want all the y's on one side, all of the numbers separated and on another side. So we're going to subtract that. Oh, I forgot. I need to also add 2y over here. So 8y plus 12 equals negative 20. 8y plus 12 equals negative 20. We're going to subtract 12 on both sides. So 8y equals negative 32. And y equals negative 4. All right, so my steps might have been different than what you would have done, and that's fine. There are different ways to solve it and still get negative 4, but I subtracted 2y, and then I subtracted 12, because I want all the y's over here. I want all the the numbers on the other side, so the non-variables on the other side, and I end up with negative 4. Check what you did. Okay, we are then going to distribute on both sides of the equation for this one. So 3m plus 21 and 6m plus 12. One of the most common mistakes here when distributing is not multiplying that second number, just leaving it as a 7. I see that all the time. Don't forget to do that. I like to draw the little rainbow looking thing so I don't forget. But yet, somehow in first period I still forgot for one of them. So I personally like for the variable to be positive. So because of that, I'm going to subtract 3m on both sides. Some of you are like, I always want my variables on the left-hand side. And if that's you, then subtract 6m on both sides and we'll see if we get the same answer at the end. This should be a review. You should know how to solve equations coming into this class. So like, you may solve it in a different order than I do and get the same answer, and that's fine. Okay, as long as it follows the rules of PEMDAS, there's lots of different ways to solve these. If you want the variable on the right side, or on the left-hand side, just subtract 6m instead. That's fine. I'm now going to subtract 12 from both sides. So 3m equals 9. Divide by 3 here. Divide by 3 there. M is going to be 3. So hopefully this is review for you guys. If you guys are struggling, then just make sure on this assignment that you practice and really learn it for the quiz tomorrow, because there will be some solving equations on the quiz. Let's look down here. These are the more challenging ones. Still not too crazy. I just want to make sure that you know how to get rid of these fractions, so these equations with fractions. There's 2 different ways to do this. Well, there's probably more than 2, but one way is when you see a fraction and you want to get rid of the number on the bottom, you just do the opposite of dividing, because 2p plus 16 divided by 2, the opposite of dividing would be multiplying. That's how you get rid of the division. So you could multiply by 2 on both sides. There is another way to do it, but this is one way. Multiply by 2 on both sides, and what happens is your fraction is now non-existent. Those 2's are canceled out because 2 up here divided by 2 down in the denominator is 1. So 2p plus 16 is on that side. And then this is just something that you distribute, which I'm going to go ahead and combine these like terms. So 5 plus 4 will be added together to equal 9p. And then minus 8. Okay, so now it's just like a normal distributing problem. Okay, and then I will go over the other way once we do the whole problem. So I'm going to distribute 2 times 9 is 18p minus 16. And then this side is just 2p plus 16. All right, again, I like positive p's. So I want to move this over here. But if you like your p's on the left-hand side, then subtract 18 instead of subtracting 2. Okay. Get rid of the 2 p's. 16 equals 16p. Lots of 16s here. That's okay. We are now going to add 16 on both sides. Don't want to go too fast for you guys, but also don't want to go too slow. Trying to figure out the... So why are we doing this? All right, the p's are over here, so I got to get all these numbers away from the p's. So we're going to add 16 on both sides. This is now it's gone. So now I just have 16p on this side. On this side, I've got 32 now. All right, and then I'm going to divide by 16. Divide by 16, p is going to be 2 over here. Okay, so we went fairly quickly on that one. The answer is p equals 2. I'm going to go back up here to where we can see. One other way you could do this without multiplying by 2 on both sides is because both of these are even, it actually comes out nicely. You could divide both 2p and 16 by 2. You just have to make sure you divide both of the things by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is just p. 2p divided by 2 is p. So you could end up with p plus 8 on the left-hand side and not have to multiply this side by 2. That is one way you can do it. I chose to show you in the notes this way because this way works whether the problem or the numbers are positive. Okay, sorry. This works whether the numbers are even or odd. So these are even, they divide easily by 2. These are odd, some of these are odd, they do not divide easily by 2. The point is to get rid of the fractions. I don't want decimals in it, so I'm going to do this way with the multiplying on both sides. But just know, if they're positive, you can multiply them. So I'm going to do the first couple steps of this one with you, and then have you solve the rest of it on your own. But I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides. I'm also going to combine these like terms here, like that negative 2x minus 8x is going to be negative 10x. So I'm going to write my 2 and negative 10x plus 2. So I have not multiplied yet. And then I'm going to write all of these out. So just essentially these disappear and I rewrite the numerator or the top of the fraction. Negative 5, 1 minus 5x, 5 minus, hopefully I don't run out of room. It looks like I'm going to. 8x minus 2 plus 2. Oh goodness, should not have done it in that order. Okay, that is minus 2 parentheses plus 2. Ooh, that got ugly. All right, now we're going to distribute all these. Negative 5 plus 25x minus 40x minus 10 plus 2 equals negative 20x plus 4. All right, and then I just want you to solve the rest. So combine like terms, solve for x. Okay, I'm just going to show you guys. I appreciate you comparing answers. That's great. I'm going to show you the steps. See if you combine like terms correctly first. That is an issue at times. 17 over 5 is the answer. See if you combine like terms correctly. See if you got to this step correctly. And then I chose to add 20 on both sides. You may have done a different step there. You may have added 15 on both sides. That would be fine. But I chose to add 20. And then I get this. Add 13 on both sides. I get 17. So you end up with 5x equals 17 and have to divide. So check your work, see what you got, and if you made any mistakes, see if you can pinpoint those.